Hello YouTube and YouTubettes. Welcome to an album review. I have a very special formula that I use to make grades, so you will hear fractions and like a 5.73 or whatever. I won't give that away, but generally speaking, let's just say that 10 is the best and 0 is the worst. In this video, I would like to review the Apples in Stereo album, her Wallpaper Reverie. This was released on June 8th, 1999. It's on Spin Art Records and Elephant Six, which is an interesting, I love Elephant Six. There's several groups. Look up Elephant Six. Some of the guys are involved in several groups within that record company, and it is all psychedelic music. So I love that record company. So this one was produced by Robert Schneider. He's involved with a few different Elephant Six groups, and it's mixed at Pet Sounds recording studio in Denver, Colorado. I like that because I'm a huge Beach Boys fan. And a lot of the Elephant Six stuff is sort of late, mid to late 60s Beatles style and Beach Boys Pet Sounds Smile type creativity. So check out Elephant Six if you like that kind of stuff. The album cover was created by William Cullen Hart, which that name looks familiar. So I think I've seen his name in other Elephant Six projects. It's kind of green with brown background. It's cool lettering, kind of a 60s psychedelic style, which matches the music, so it works well. So I give the album cover a 7 out of 10. Now on to the songs. So normally I go track by track, but in this case I'm going to review all of the interludes separately as one review. All of the interludes were written by Robert Schneider. I really think that this is an awesome, I know it gets a lot of, when I read about it, it got a lot of criticism, but I love the interludes of this, and it's meant to be listened to as a whole, all together. I give the interludes a 7.6 out of 10. It's very artistic. It's not meant to be listened to individually. They're not meant to be listened to individually. They're meant to be listened to as a whole. I like them. It doesn't get a 10 for me, but it gets a 7.6. The first full song is track number 3, called The Shining Sea, written by Robert Schneider. I really dig this song. It kind of grooves along slowly and has a really cool effect on the voice, kind of a thing they did in the 60s a lot in psychedelic music. It's very cool, I think, and it's not high on the catchy side, but it's very high on the artistic side, and I give this song a 7.8 out of 10. The next full song is track number 5, called Strawberry Fire. This is my favorite song on the whole album. I listen to this quite a bit. It's very catchy and very artistic. It's got great lyrics. It's great production. I just love it from beginning to end. And this is just one of those songs that I can listen to over and over again. I love the drumming. The way the drumming is on this song, and the melody line is really cool. I'm sure Robert Schneider was thinking of Strawberry Fields Forever when he wrote it. I immediately thought of strawberries. I mean, obviously that's in the title. But this is a great song. I love it. I give this one a 9.4 out of 10. The next full song is called Ruby, written by Robert Schneider, and this is not one of my favorites. It's very poppy and not really my thing. In fact, comparing to the Beatles, I'm just a secret here. I'm not the biggest Paul McCartney fan. He has some great songs too, but a lot of his songs are just too swingy, happy. That doesn't make this a bad song, it's just not my taste. It's got some interesting moments, but it's just a little too poppy and snappy for me. I give it higher grades on the catchiness side. But overall, I'm not a big fan. It gets a 6.4 out of 10 for me. The next full song is track number 9, called Questions and Answers, written by Robert Schneider and Hillary Sidney. and I guess she's the one singing on this one as well. Hillary Sidney was a musician famously recognized as the longtime drummer for the Apples in Stereo. She was married to Robert Schneider until they got divorced in 2004, so that's a fun fact on her. It doesn't say, I can't see if it says she's actually singing on that song. I'll just assume that she is. This song is borderline poppy snappy. If that's a great term or not, I don't know. My vocabulary is not great, but how do you describe music? Anyway, it's borderline poppy snappy, but it's interesting enough to make me like it. You know, I like it a lot better than Ruby. This one is pretty snappy but also interesting and creative. I give this one a 7.0 out of 10. The next full song is track number 11, which is called Y2K, written by Robert Schneider. For anyone who is not old enough to know what Y2K is, it was when everybody thought the power was going to be turned out in the year 2000. But also, if you're too young to remember that, you probably shouldn't be listening to this song because it's got some big people words in it. Anyway, I think this is a very catchy, but it's also interesting. I really like this song. In my formula, I graded it pretty solid across the board. There's not a weak thing on this song. It's artistic, it's got good lyrics, it's got good production, and just all the way around, and makes it a very good song. And I give this song a 7.6 out of 10.
Everything I say falls away.
The last full song is track number 13, called Benefits of Lying with Your Friend, written by Robert Schneider. This is a beautiful song. It's my second favorite song on the album, and I really love the melody line on the chorus. Very cool. And it reminds me of 60s Beach Boys or Beatles or something. There's some song, I'm sure there's a song that has this melody line, but whatever it is, it catches my attention and it's beautiful. I really love this song. It gets really high marks in certain ways. It's very catchy, but it's also got a great poetic lyric to it and a great production. And I give this song an 8.6 out of 10. Finally, the album flow on this album is excellent. I mean, a lot of people complain about individual tracks being too short, but it's really meant to be listened to from beginning to end, which is nothing new. I mean, this goes back to Sgt. Pepper and Smile. Well, Smile didn't come out back in the 60s, but there was a lot of albums in the 60s that were doing this, and I don't think it was anything new. Maybe in the 90s it wasn't happening as often, but on Elephant 6, there's a lot of bands in Elephant 6 that does this all the time. But I give this a 10 out of 10 on album flow. That is how the songs flow together from beginning to end on the album. I calculate my formula, put it in my calculator, and my score for Apples in Stereo, her Wallpaper Reverie, is 7.93 out of 10. Very solid, in my opinion. Very, very good album. So 7.93 out of 10, and that is my review for Apples in Stereo, her Wallpaper Reverie. Have a wonderful day.